Hello there, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be sorting through another huge Lego haul that I got. I picked this up on Facebook Marketplace. So this is what happens when someone sells their entire childhood Lego collection in one bin. No boxes and no instructions, just this. By the end of this process, I'm going to turn this into fully rebuilt sets. So let's get into it. I'm not sure the entire weight of it, but it is pretty extensive. It's this bin and then another bin. This bin is full of the stuff that I was able to identify and the stuff that I want to keep together to make the sorting process a little bit easier on myself. So the goal of this video is to demonstrate my repeatable process that anyone can use on their own haul, and kind of give the roadmap that I use to do this in the most efficient way, because there are a lot of intricacies that go into this process and you kind of want to waste the least amount of time, or else you could just go crazy. So the first step is the process is to go through the collection and pick out the sets that are kind of half built and put together, and this will make the process of putting them back together a little bit more easier, especially with stuff that's mostly built, like this X-Wing or this base of a Millennium Falcon and Star Destroyer. Just stuff that you can identify to kind of give you an idea of what you're working with. So the second step of this process is to get all the bricks separated and to remove all the trash, as well as get all the stickered and decaled pieces out, as well as any minifigure pieces, and keep those separate because those get their own separate cleaning process. But the point of getting all the bricks separated individually is to make sure that when you go to wash it is that no water gets trapped in between any of the pieces. So we're gonna get into that process now, and I'll show you my technique to get it done as efficiently as possible. So the reason why I have these pieces in a sheet is it becomes easy to separate it and put it on the floor to spread it out. I'll take it off right now and show you the work that I've already done here. These are all the pieces that I've already separated out completely, removing all stickered pieces and minifigure pieces, as well as throwing away any non-Lego or junk that was in there. So this is the setup that I use that I find most efficient. So basically, I have my bin of pieces that need to get separated and sorted through. Below, I have the bin of completely separated pieces. So as I'm going through it, it's easy to slide them down, get them out of the way. Over here, I have the bin of stickered pieces, minifigure pieces, windscreens, rope, stuff that can't get wet, as well as a trash can over there on the side to throw away any unwanted parts. So yeah, I'll do a little time lapse of me getting through this bin and explaining things along the way. So you can see here that basically I got rid of all the individual pieces that were already separated and kept all like the assemblies. This is just to make it more efficient, so my mind can kind of stay tracked on one thing at a time and not switch between separating, pulling bricks apart and pushing them into the bin. This is the most efficient technique that I've found. So now, just going through, getting all these separated out. This is kind of like the most boring part of the entire process. It's the least rewarding because you're kind of like undoing everything, but you kind of got to start from the bottom and it builds on itself. No pun intended. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep going through this stuff and hopefully get through it as quick as I can, because it is the most painstaking part of the process, but it's necessary to be able to get everything clean and also be able to log everything, all the pieces that you have, to be able to load them into Rubricable, which will tell you exactly what you're able to build, what you're missing, And yeah, so that's the point of this entire process.
For money ain't nothing. Take $1 million every record that I cut. My name is Special Ed. For money ain't nothing. Take $1 million every record that I cut. My name is Special Ed, and I'm a superstar. Every other month I get a brand new car. Got 20, that's plenty, and I still want more. Trying to find a Honda Scooters, got 74. I got the riches. For money ain't nothing. Take $1 million.
So I'm just stopping here for a sec to show that you need to be careful when pulling apart old brown or old dark red pieces, because they're very fragile, and if you bend them at all, they'll snap like that. I'm still going to keep this piece since it is just a small little corner, and I think I'll still be able to use it. But yeah, it is unfortunate that these older pieces do tend to break, so you just got to be mindful of that.
Take $1 million every record that I cut. My name is Special Ed. For money ain't nothing. Take $1 million every record that I cut. My name is Special Ed. For money ain't nothing. Take $1 million every record that I cut. My name is Special Ed. For money ain't nothing. Take $1 million every record that I cut. Got it made.
So we finished separating that bin. Just want to show you guys, this is kind of the bin of all the stickered stuff, all the minifigure stuff, animals. That's eventually gonna have to get sorted out later. And then down here is the bin of fully separated bricks. And that was just one small bin. This is all that I have left to go through. So yeah, it's going to be a long haul. This is one of the biggest collections that I've ever gone through. And I got this collection about over a year ago, and I'm just getting to the point where I'm starting to go through it. So this is by no means a quick process, but it's super rewarding once you get to the final stages, which ultimately the goal is to get them all sorted into bins. I have like 10 more of these guys, and that will be another step in the process. But for now, the priority is to get everything separated out. Once they're all separated, to sort them into plates, Technic parts, and bricks, and then we'll start cleaning them. So then they can be sorted into specific groups and logged into Rebrickable. All right, so I've finally finished separating all the loose pieces. This is what it looks like when everything's all separated out. Everything is completely pulled apart. These are all the parts that I don't want to get wet, all the minifigure, sticker, printed parts. Almost filled up an entire bin of that. And what's left now is to start going through the semi-built stuff, and putting them all together. Well, actually pulling them apart, but keeping all the pieces together, so that once I have everything uploaded into Rebrickable, I'll be able to figure out exactly what I'm missing from everything. So that's the point that I'm at right now. Alright, so I've reached a pretty good stopping point here. I've separated out most of the semi-built sets, at least the ones that I'm interested in, aka mostly the Star Wars stuff. I got some more stuff here that like maybe I'm half interested in putting back together. And then the rest of this is loose pieces and like little semi-built stuff that I'm thinking I'm just gonna separate all out and put back into the big bin. So yeah, and then the next step will be to get all of the semi-built sets separated and put into bags and put away for a later time. So yeah.
Special Ash, but money ain't nothing. Take $1 million every record that I cut. My name is Special Ash, but money ain't nothing. Take $1 million every record that I cut. My name is Special Ash, but money ain't nothing. Take $1 million every record that I cut. Got it made, got it made. Fulfill my needs, got it.
All right, so I finally finished taking apart the last of those loose pieces, and now what's left is to go through the last of these sets that are semi put together and decide if I really want to keep them together or just take them apart and put them with the rest of the bin. So that's the next step.
West Indies, even got a little island of my very own. I got a floor, a dog with a solid gold bone. An account to account the amount I spent. Got a treaty with the heat cause I own a percent out here, out there. For every day, boutique from France to the USA. When I make all the money from the rhymes I invent, so it really doesn't matter how much I spend. I make fresh rhymes daily. You burn me, really? Think, just blink, and I made a million rhymes. Just imagine if you blink a million times. Damn, I get paid.
All right, so I've reached a pretty good stopping point for the day here. Over here, we have all the sets that I want to keep together. Obviously in this bin, all the loose pieces. And then these bins, I've already kind of started the next step of the process, which is to separate bricks, plates, and Technic/special pieces. And then over here are the minifigure, windscreens, decal, sticker pieces. So in the next part, I'm going to be going through the big bin and separating all the pieces into bricks, plates, and Technic pieces. So if you enjoyed this video, please stay tuned for the next parts, and I'll see you in the next one.